round 9, and it's raining heavily here in Buenos Aires. Rebel on pole from Daniel Bogdasarov and Oscar Folstad. Then it's Leo, 4th from T. Gabo and P. Sierra. Lars Leclerc starts 7th from Enoch Huey and Sebastian Ocampo. David Camino running out of the top 10 with Buenos just missing out. iWorld starts 12th from Daf Sanchez and Jack Carter. Santino Milan home driver starts 15th from Michael Novikov and Akari Lopez. Cable starts 18th from Tommy, Marcus Nelson and Cosmos. And then lastly we've got Bastian Tan in 22nd. Approaching the halfway point of the season then, and we've had a lot of interesting races already. All 5 lights go on. And we go green in Argentina. That's a pretty good start from Bogdasarov off the line. He's going to have the inside line coming into the first bank turn on lap 1 of 18. And the Frenchman gets past Rebel. So Bogdasarov into the lead of the Prix Sierra, getting past Oscar Folstad, trying to at least coming through that third turn. But Folstad getting the better of him on this occasion. So we're coming through the first sector then. It is Bogdasarov from Ramos, from Folstad and Leo, the top 4. And Jack Carter's dropped quite a bit from 14th on the grid to 16th. Santino Milan having a pretty torrid home race weekend, getting passed by Bastian Tan. Up into 18th goes the McLaren TGR driver. And it's very heavily raining here today. This is not the kind of weather you'd expect in, South American climate at all. But with Punta del Este coming up next, it would be really hard to envision that race being dry if this race is wet. Muirez, however, from 11th on lap 1, he's going to start lap 2, trying to get himself up into 8th. Can he do that? Try and get past David Camino? Not quite. So it's going to be 9th for Muirez. 4 now, he's still on the back as Ocampo trying to go around the outside, but Leclerc banging wheels with Muirez coming through turn 3, with Ravo currently closing in on Bogdasarov. He's got the fastest lap, does the number 97 version racing driver, but there goes Folstad, Oscar Folstad to P2. Brilliant stuff from the McLaren man this early into the race, but the pole sitter has dropped from first to third on just the opening 2 laps, and with Leo waiting in the wings to try and get past. iWorld's got a track limits warning. He's trying to fight his own teammate over 11th. Carter's still down in 16th. Bastian Tan off to a very good start. He's been overtaken by the next TV car, yes, but he's still far ahead of where he started, so he's going to try and keep himself on the track. Folstad trying to go around the outside of Daniel Bogdasarov, but he's gotten done by Ravo there. Ravo now alongside McLaren man, but he's also got the slipstream from Bogdasarov. His braking distance going to be a lot more compromised, but still Folstad ahead of Ravo, who's now got the inside coming through this double apex turn. So Ravo back up into 2nd position, and with Leo currently trying to find his way past both cars on Folstad and Revo here, it's going to be very close coming into this hard braking point, as Folstad holding the inside line to take 2nd away from the championship leader in that red number 1 car. And he's going to hold the low line coming through the final turn. That heavy banked final turn, the most banking of any track on the calendar. Camino hitting the fastest lap in 8th. Leo trying to get past Revo now, but also Gabo trying to get into the fight as well, fighting with both the Aurelio Pinnacle man and Revo in the number 1. Tommy's gone himself a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. That's with Jack Carter. He's been falling down the order, and I'm not too sure if it's an issue with the car, because both hyperdrive men haven't had the best start. Maybe they geared their car more towards the dry conditions, but still, for them to drop down to 4th now with Revo is unheard of. And not Huey trying to get past, almost colliding. That's very wide from Huey. Dropped to 6th. Garrett's finding his way up into 3rd. Virgin Racing are looking to try and get themselves a 1-2. And what other way to do it than the low line coming out of the last turn slingshot momentum from Gabo, who'll have the inside line coming into turn 1. This will be a done deal once they're through. There goes Gabo up into P2. It's a virgin 1-2. And it's at this point I should probably mention, check the description below. We have a Google form for the fan boost for the final 3 rounds. The top 3 voted drivers, voted by you, will get a power boost. I've mentioned this in the community post already, and it's good to mention it in the race too. So, looking on board with Revo then, still in these very wet conditions. Volstad probably used to these, considering I must be like in Scandinavia. I don't know anything, please don't take that out of context. But still, Revo's struggling out there to keep his car pulling in a straight line. He's struggling with grip as there goes Leo past Revo. And if he's not too careful, Sierra's going to get past him too. So, of course, not the best of starts for the reigning Drivers' Champion. He's doing all he can to stay within the top 5. With now a third of the way through the E3. As there goes Sierra up into 5th position. And Anokui looking to try and take 6th away from the reigning Drivers' Champion. Revo's pulling a switchback however to take 5th away from the Nissan Nismo man. But for the home driver in Santino Milan, he's really not having the best of times here today. He's down in last. This is not how either Hyperdrive Racing or Argentina would have seen a home race for their driver happening. As Bogdasarov then closing in on his own teammate, he's been passed by Gabo. Gabo has taken the lead. Bogdasarov retakes the lead away from his teammate Ocampo. However, with a track limits warning, trying to get past Sierra in 6th position. Neilrez, however, look at that, slips. Stream, he's gone off of the back of that last turn. He's going to have a very good shot of taking 7th from Ocampo if he was just a little bit closer. But Gabo and Bogdasarov still fighting over the lead. He's got to keep this very clean, or else Volstad's going to be able to get past both virgin men. I swear there's so much I could say here that's out of context and awful. But Leo trying to get past both Volstad and Gabo, who's forced the Norwegian in the McLaren very far off the racing line. It's all fair racing, fair defense, as there goes Leo trying to take 2nd from Gabo. He's alongside Volstad, so he has to make the move stick. It's going to have to be late braking into this chicane. It's very late on the brakes. Volstad getting a 2nd track limits warning as iWorld gets one himself. iWorld getting a track limits time penalty, 5 seconds there, as here comes Leo ahead of Revo. The P4 is out in front. The 2 virgins are still fighting over position. I'm trying not to laugh. Volstad still on the back of Gabo, trying to keep himself close enough to make a move like that. There goes Volstad, back up into 2nd position. Now he's free to chase after T. Gabo, the man who won his home race last time out. But for Oscar Volstad right now, all he's thinking about is trying to win his first career victory. He's been in the position to win a race so many times in his debut season, but every time he's close enough to try and do it, his luck runs out. His tyres just give way on him. It's a hectic race and he can't actually finish it because of how many crashes there are. But this time it looks like he's going to be denied by the Aurelio Pinnacle, number 30 of Leo. He's currently right behind him trying to close in. Revo taking the low line. He's going to try and get a slingshot here. He's back up into 3rd. Can he take 2nd from Oscar Volstad as we reach half race distance? On lap 9 of 18, it's not quite enough for Revo quite yet. He'll sadly have the outside line coming through turn 3, and he's not even close enough to send one down the inside. Milrez gets 5 seconds for causing a collision, and Bogdasarov's dropped to 5th. He was leading this race earlier. He's dropped down the order to 5th. That's how compact the field is. That's why you've always got to be alert on a street track. Let that sink in. On board with Revo again. He comes off the back of Oscar Volstad as we go down the hill. Who's that trying to make a Massive move. That's Nurez trying to get past Bogdasarov there. But he's dropped down to 7th. He was 5th. He dropped to 7th because, of course, making a dive like that, if you're not able to hold the position, then all you're going to do is leave yourself vulnerable to further attacks. We've had 10 laps of this race. Not a single one of them has been dry. We've got 8 laps to the checkered. Allstab 2 tenths behind Dabo, right on that diffuser of the Virgin Racing car ahead of him. And he's got a very good chance here. He can actually try and get past. So, on lap 10 of 18, will we see Volstad in that number 4 try and get past again? His teammates in the fastest first sector. But here comes Ravo, using all of his experience possible to get himself up into 2nd. And if Gabo's not too careful, we might see an Italian civil war for the race lead. And he is being as careful as he can, but Volstad, however, getting back past the hyperdrive man, who's going to take the inside. There he is, forced to go away from the track limits. Bogdasarov overtakes Rubbo in a similar fashion as Rubbo would have wanted to take the lead himself. And he's not close enough into the pits. Coming top drivers. Intermediates going on to Ravo's car. Marcus Nelson currently the man in last position. So I'm going to go on board with Marcus Nelson just to make sure that everyone here is going on to the Inters. Carter having to have a little less compromise to his stop. He might actually gain position here due to how far back he is. But let's see what tires. It's intermediate to a lot of these drivers. What is going on to Nelson's car? It's Inters going on. Oscar Volstad has taken the lead in the pit stops. From 7 to the checkered. And he's 1.4 seconds ahead of Gabo. Cable. Well, currently the last man to have his tires changed. And he's going to drop to 21st position. Tommy, the last one out of the pit. And Levo's dropped from pole on lap 1 to 8th on lap 11. I think it's just about hyperdrive right now trying to improve their pit stops, because look at McLaren, they're holding a 1-4. Bastian Tan is currently looking for another podium this season. And Oscar Volstad is currently out there leading this race. And is there any more rain falling? There isn't. So I think these guys might actually have to come into the pits pretty soon. Let's take a look at Volstad coming through the final turn. And he does peel into the pits. These Inters do actually heat up quite a bit. And once they're outside of their maximum working temperature, expect drivers to hit the wall quite hard. McLaren was the furthest up pit box. So of course that explains why they've been able to get an advantage like this. So out of the pits comes Volstad on medium tires. He'll be able to go to the end of the race. Leo's come out of the pit on hards. And Bastian Tan coming out of the pits on soft tires. And he's leapfrogged Nurez in the pit stops. So that is the level from McLaren. They now have 3 seconds to catch up to the back of Gabo to get themselves a 1-2 finish in this race. However, that's not 5 seconds. They would need Volstad to be backing up Gabo. But of course, we've seen what that man in the number 29 version car can do. He is very good at clutch performances. We saw this last time out. So of course, it's all going to be about how much faster is Bastian Tan than T. Gabo as he comes through the final turn as we enter lap 13 of 18. Only a handful more laps to go. 5 to the checkered flag. Oscar Volstad setting the fastest third sector. As in that third sector, we've had an incident involving Cosmos. He's lost part of his front wing. He's lost his entire front wing column. There, that's unusual. How's that happened for the Mahindra driver? Has someone else? It's like tragedy. Is there a puncture? Is that just 2 into 1 not going? I think it is just 2 into 1 not quite working out for the Mahindra driver, who now has to come into the pits, change his front wing. He's going to go on to mediums, which will see him to the end of the race quite comfortably. So now he's just going to have to make the most of any and all misfortune that's left to happen in this race. Oscar Folstad, fastest lap of the lead here, 59.3. Bastian Tan, 7 tenths quicker. And we've got another set of yellows down there. More yellows. And that's for iWorld? No, it's not. Someone's definitely gone off in that third and final sector. No one's coming into the pits to change in front wing or anything like that. As we look down the order, no one seemingly having too much damage. As Gabo is actually being caught by Bastian Tan here. 2 seconds of the gap. As Cosmos is probably going to caught. It's a little bit of a problem for the Virgin man. Hopping over the curb there. As the number 22 McLaren pushing as hard as he possibly can. With just only a handful of laps left to run. Bogdasar getting a track limits warning in 7th, being hassled by Revo as he tries to overtake Leo while not being passed by the hyperdrive man behind him. He's got to be that close. He's got attack mode then. They've both got attack mode. So Bogdasar trying to send one down the inside. Trying is a strong word. That looked quite easy for him to take 6th away from Leo. But now it's all about trying to consolidate that position. But I think Revo's got that covered for him. He's going to try and get past the number 30. Who, on hard tyres, definitely going to be struggling a lot more than he would have wanted. As here comes Revo down the hill. This roller coaster of a lap. As up into 7th goes Revo. So, to go through your running order one more time before the final lap. Folstad leads the way from Gabo and Bastian Tan. Then it's Milrose with a 5-second time penalty. PCR, Bogdasar, and Revo, who's trying to get past both of him and Leo. He's almost stuck the landing, but here comes Leo once again. Hard tyres does not mean too much to him, because here he comes, weaving, going down the straight, trying to generate some more tyre temperature as Sebastian Ocampo comes into the pit. And those soft tyres haven't lasted for too long for him. 56% tyre wear, and we've got 2 more laps to go. You've got to now think about this man, Bastian Tan, who's charging towards Gabo at a rate of knots. He can see him right ahead. I think he's got attack mode on the Virgin driver ahead of him. He does not. Never mind that. But he's going to be close enough in a few laps time. If he can just hold on with his tyres, he should be close enough to make a cheeky lunge. However, he might want to come into the pits instead. Reasonably so, due to the lack of grip that he could be experiencing. But he's going to make it to the penultimate lap of the E3, with Folstad leading the way and attacking Cosmos. And we've got yellows in that 3rd sector, and that's not for Jack Carter, that's for Marcus Nelson. Marcus Nelson has hit the wall and has lost his entire front wing column. No front wing there. Carter coming into the pits for his 3rd and final stop. And now Marcus Nelson holding up a little bit of a blockade for these guys further down the order. Clerk comes into the pits as well. Well, to change, he had damage. He didn't need to change his front wing. However, Ocampo dropping down the order. Bastian Tan really struggling with his tyres. Folstad attacking and Cosmos here. Just making sure that he does stay lapped up very close to the wall, Bastian. You don't want to be that close on the penultimate lap when you could help your team to score maximum points in a race weekend. This is going to be all that he can do on this final lap here in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Folstad leading the way from Gabo and Bastian Tan, but for how much longer can that Italian hold on to the 2nd position in this race? Considering all that he's had to try and do to keep himself that high up in the order, it's going to be all he can do to keep his car points in the same direction, considering how much wear Gabo obviously has. But he's closed into Folstad. Oscar Folstad has it tyre trouble. It seems his medium's not working at their optimum temperature. Gabo's got attack mode. Bastian has not got attack mode. He's at 25% tyre wear. So coming through the chicane, the final Oh, major turning point. Sebastian Tan clearing up with his tyres, thankfully. So rounding out the final turn, it won't be max points for McLaren, but it'll be a first win and a maiden victory for Oscar Volstad, who wins the Buenos Aires E3 from T Gabo and teammate Sebastian Tan. As we've seen, yellows in that final sector for Daniel Bontasarov, who's lost his front wing. Cosmos classified a lap down. Cables in your fastest first sector of anyone, down in last position. And full safety car Sebastian Ocampo out of the E3. That is where that Andretti car is. And that's really unfortunate for him to retire from an E3 on the last lap. But for McLaren, a 1-3 finish at a weekend like this is absolutely how Volstad needed to get a first race win. So congratulations to Oscar Volstad on a maiden race win here in Buenos Aires. The second year in a row we've had a new race winner in Argentina. And this is the podium then. Oscar Volstad from McLaren TGR wins the Buenos Aires E3 from T Gabo and teammate Sebastian Tan. Then it's P. Sierra, Miores, Leo, Revo and Daniel Bontasarov the top 8, followed by Anot Cui and David Camlo, the rest of your point scorers. Iwell just outside of the points, and following him is Michael Novikov and Jack Carter. Then it's Santino Milan, Akari Lopez, Tommy in top 16. Then it's Lars Clark, Marcus Nelson, Daph Sanctions, Cable, Cosmos a lap down, and Sebastian Ocampo, the only retirement. In the driver's standings, Revo leads the way only 2 points ahead of T Gabo. We actually have a title fight on our hands. Following them is Sebastian Tan, Marcus Nelson, Leo, Oscar Volstad, Cable, Jack Carter, the top 8, and Iward, Lars Clark, and Daniel Bontasarov, P. Sierra, Sebastian Ocampo, Akari Lopez, Cosmos, Miores, Daph Sanchez, Santino Milan, David Camlo, Anot Huey, Michael Novikov, the rest of your point scorers in the season so far, with Tommy not yet scoring. So in the constructors' standings, heading into the next round of the championship in Punta del Este, Hyperdrive Racing moved away on 130 points, followed by Virgin Renault 121. Then it's McLaren TGR on 114 points, and likely well on title fight 17. And it's Aurelio Pinnacle on 77. App Sportsline on 71 points. Mercedes Formula Racing tied on 71 points. And it's 100 GP on 56 points. Nissan Nismo on 42. TS Andretti on 41 points. Mahindra on 33. And NextCV Neo on 4 points. Vote for fan boost in the description of this race. But as for the rest of the championship, we'll see you guys next time in Punta del Este when the Formula E Monopoly Championship returns.